welcome to another episode of What's the Math? In this video, I'm going to show you how you can keep tabs of your finance using a simple spreadsheet. I've been doing this for a number of years. I know some people also like to use notebooks or even apps. The reason I prefer to use a spreadsheet is because it offers me more flexibility. So the issue with a notebook is that you have to do the calculations all yourself. Well, the spreadsheet can do that for you. And the issue with an app is that it's usually not flexible enough. So this is what I've created, just a simple template for us. My own personal template is a bit more complicated than this, but this will show you the basic principles of how you can keep tabs of your finance using a spreadsheet. So you will earn some money from several sources. It might be a job. It might be two jobs. It might be through allowances. So if you're a student, you might receive a maintenance loan. So we would have a one column per source of income, okay? And then a total column. Then you will have some bills, and those are fixed. Obviously, again, it depends on who you are and what your lifestyle is like. I've just put some different examples here, okay? And finally, the final component of every personal finance, and usually the trickiest, is the flexible spending. Okay, so here I've called it envelopes because back before the digital age, usually people would manage their flexible finance by setting aside money in specifically named envelopes for each type of spending. So here again, I've just given you a few examples. So you might earn, for example, £1,800. You can then drag down from this right corner. It copies that value over. You might earn some cash here and there. It might be different values each month. Again, you'd populate that according to your own needs. I formatted all of these cells to be in the accounting format. And I've removed the decimal points just for simplicity, really, and that way we can kind of see what's going on a little bit better. Now, to add all of this up, we're going to use the sum formula and then drag down, and it copies that formula to all the other rows. Okay, let's do exactly the same for our bills. So I'm just going to generate some random values here. You might pay certain bills every 2 months or every 3 months. So again, you can populate the spreadsheet accordingly. The same thing with any bills that you pay yearly. Obviously here, February is going to be our worst month because I've put our gas and electric there and our TV license there. Obviously, if you own a spreadsheet, then place those values in the actual months where those expenses fall. Let's add it all up. Alright. Now, the envelopes represent your hopes and wishes. You probably are likely to over budget. Okay. However, the reality might be that you have to always spend slightly less than your budget. But a little trick that I found to overcome that, and I think most people would benefit from doing this, is by creating an envelope called miscellaneous. So this is just a little bit of cash left over as a buffer, because no matter how accurate you try to be with your budgeting, there are always going to be things that you have forgotten about. There are always going to be small emergencies that creep up on you, and so on. And sometimes you might just want to have an extra coffee or whatever with a friend, so you're going to need some buffer for miscellaneous spending. So again, I'm going to populate this with some values. I've tried to make these values as big as possible because I've realized I probably haven't been very thorough with the bills and the envelopes. And we have a normal salary here, it's kind of roughly minimum wage, I think. So we're probably not going to have a negative figure anywhere in our balance, and I want it to. So let's see. So equals. Now the balance is when you take away from your salary, from the total income that you have, all of your fixed expenses, so the expenses that you have to pay, and you have no control over that, so you really have to save for them. And then also take away the flexible expenses, which are expenses you have some control over. Press equals and drag down. Oh, we actually have no negative numbers. Let's make something more extreme. I don't know. I actually don't know how much a TV license is in the UK anymore. But let's make that more expensive. There we go. Oh no, not yet. What can we make more expensive? Maybe February can be... Oh, there we go. February is Valentine's. So we're going to spend more money on shopping. There we go. You can see here in this column that we have some red figures and some black figures. And this is what it's like to be in the black and the red. So all that jargon comes from this. The black is when you have money left over. So we can see that in March and April, we're going to have £390 left over from our income. So we've earned that much amount of money. We paid our bills. We maxed out our envelopes, and we still have some money left over. The same thing for April. But in February we have some money in the red. That means that we overspent by £90. The way that we can get that red to come up, I'll show you. You can format those cells. If you have a MacBook, you can just press Command 1. Go down to number, currency, and you select the red formatting for the negative numbers. Press OK, and it does that formatting for you. Now you don't have to stop there. So I've just made 3 months. You could run it all the way to, I don't know, December, for example, or you can even run it over several years. This is especially useful if you're working on a project. For example, if you're saving towards the deposit for a house or a new car, etc. Okay, so any project that you're coming up with, you can save over several years. Let me actually do that. So what year are we on? 2020. Yeah. So there we go. So that's really as easy as that. February 2020. That's the month of recording right now. Just drag down from that bottom corner, and we can go to any month we want in the future. I'm just gonna leave it until January 2021. That makes a full year. Okay. Let's format this so it clearly says is the date, well, the month, but I'm going to leave it as the date really. And now with these cells here, you can also drag them down. That might affect some of the values, so you might need to go back and double check. Yeah, no, the salary's still the same. Yeah, that's all good. Okay, so just by dragging down, you've copied down all the cells as well. And now you can personalize this. So for example, electric and gas. Actually, you might decide, oh, I don't pay that in February. I only pay every 3 months, but the next bill is in March. And then the next bill would be there, and then there, and so on. So you just copy and paste that value. Same thing with the TV license. You might not pay it in February. You might pay it, I don't know, in September. Okay. So you will adjust and adapt this, and you will see this column will be responsive to all of those changes that you make. So for example, if you know you're going to be making a slight loss in June, you can decide to maybe cut down on shopping, for example, and now you don't make any loss in June. So it allows you to see where could be your potential weak points through a period of time, and then make adjustments in your lifestyle or your spending in order to mitigate those losses. I think in our next video, we're going to expand this slightly. We're going to add a little bit more detail. And also, we're going to incorporate long-term savings into this. So I'm going to show you how I like to keep tabs on my long-term savings and help you to forecast a little bit about how much money you will have by a certain date, providing that you keep to your savings discipline. So if you've liked this video, please don't forget to subscribe and give us a thumbs up as well. And leave it in the comments if you have any other ideas. If you're already using spreadsheet for your own finances, I'd love to hear about how you're using it and how maybe you might do things differently than I do. So leave us a comment. If it's your first time seeing something like this being done, and you quite like the idea, you might want to try it, then have a go and then let me know how you got on as well. And as always, thank you for watching and see you next time.